everyone. Today we have our another new episode, and this is our 368. So we are trying to developing a knowledge-based communities. Today we have many young and talented pool, especially from South Asia, as well as from Europe. So we are trying to develop a knowledge-based community. World Talent Economy Forum. We are engaging with 100 different countries and more than 300 corporations and universities. So hopefully today's discussion will be very, very effective because we are trying to engage with the developing nations. Developing nations has different problem. We need different solutions. We have our expert panelists. They will discuss on that particular point. So I want to start from Mr. Kumar. So how are you, Mr. Kumar? What's going on inside India and how your organization actually contributing for climate change?
Hi, Sharif. Thank you, everybody, and good to join with the experts today. And yeah, my company is Aeronero. We are trying to solve water problem, and we produce water from atmosphere. And yeah, of course, I mean we do the life cycle assessment to understand what is the contribution towards uh, the carbon emission. And in terms of that, I mean we are trying to bring our products to carbon neutral. So in that way, we address most of the solutions. And of course, um, in terms of water, I mean, we come from South India. I mean, we depend on the rainfall most of the cases. So that's when we realized, I mean, we should not depend on anything. So we went for our own independent solutions of producing water from the air. So yeah,
Mhm.
that's what we're doing.
Mhm. Like I love to know like how many people right now your corporation actually engaging and you are providing solution in
Mhm.
India or outside India.
At present, we have installed close to 2,500 units
Hmm.
and in independent solutions. And if you ask me, outside India, we have been supplying to NTU in Singapore and Dubai and Serbia, even to Sri Lanka, and even we are trying to address a solution in Chile, where Chile faces the similar issue. I mean, we are trying to extract lithium from the ground, and in that process, they lost a lot of fresh water, and of course, they have the major water consumption in the agriculture. So we are trying
Hmm.
to give a solution for them by tapping the mist, the moisture from the atmosphere. Of course, I mean we also treat the grey water and then convert into a potable water for them. So
Hmm.
in that, I mean it's been a long journey. I mean to address this water solution across the globe.
Mhm. Excellent, excellent. Mr. Ashikur, you are actually from one of the corporations from Bangladesh. I think it's one of the largest corporation in Bangladesh. Uh, Also, Mr. Jamshed, also from same organization. My question is that because we are working to solve many problems, especially climate change problem, Bangladesh actually one of the countries that they will be highly affected for the climate change. India also the same, Maldives. So South Asia has a lot of challenges. So as you are working inside the corporation, I just want to know that what is the corporate cultures? They are thinking about climate change. They are taking initiative for the climate change, or they are utilizing green technology for the solution. What is the present condition right now?
Basically, in Bangladesh, government is taking a huge initiative from 2008. As
Mhm.
I can recall myself, as Bangladesh has developed the Bangladesh Climate Change Strategy and Action Plan. It's a different organization who is ensuring all the factories that they have the ETP, because it is a huge change, and Bangladesh is based on rivers. So there's lots of rivers in our country. So Bangladesh government is first of all focusing on the water. So water treatment plan has already been already introduced in every company, and government is strict over there. So
Mhm.
in my company, we have more than 32 organizations where we
Mhm.
have a lots of uh, production based company, and we have ensured that ETB facilities for our formulations company SAF formulations, it can go over there, and we have the best ETB over there. Also in the
Mhm.
shrimp factory we have ETBs. So our company is taking initiative, but it's a whole new concept to the regular business over here. So
Mhm.
government is guiding us, and we are taking steps uh, a little bit slower, but still. Also, you can know that the COVID effect during the COVID, uh, the company got a chance to seal the areas where we are hampering the environment. Like we have developed the drainage system well. We have developed the chimneys, or you can sell that the smokes from the factories. Now it is not open, it's filtered, and then it is get out from the factory. So these are the things are step by step we are developing. In recent time also, there is a step has been taken that going green.
Mhm.
uh, as you know that Bangladesh, Dhaka city is one of the most densely populated cities in the world. So here, majority of the building doesn't have that much facilities to have green. So the office is much more regularly decorated over here with the green trees. So these
Mhm.
little steps, but these are working over here. So this is
Mhm.
how we are trying to put some contributions to the climate change. But still,
Mhm.
there are lots of work to go, lots of way to go. So as I am working as an auditor, and
And
my fellow
my fellow
colleague Jamshed
colleague
is over,
Jamshed is over.
so we both
Mhm.
are
Sorry.
working over here. So working in ACA. So as we can see, many steps are taking. Also, recently in one of our business that is called seeds business, SA seeds, we are promoting uh, new technologies like bioflocks. We are trying to introducing it in urban areas so that we can have some green on the rooftops. So
Mhm.
this is how we are contributing. But still, as we know, there are many steps to be taken. That's all from me.
Mhm. Mhm. Thank you, Mr. Jamshed. You are also a corporate auditor, so I just want to know that, like when you introducing different green technology, like as an auditor, you get a chance to audit these certifications or this kind of things, or you just look like take care about this financial part. And another things I just want to like inform all of our speakers today that 25th October's World Talent Economy Forums actually launching their event with the Malaysian governments, like Malaysian climate change divisions. We will go to the Dubai Expos and world largest the corporation like investment corporations, uh, UN Secretary Generals and many even senator from USA, many global leaders, they will join in our open dialogues. So definitely, as you are a youth pool, because you can join as an audience, I'm sure it will be one of the largest public private partnerships for Asia Pacific, and World Talent Economy
Thank
Forum
you.
actually handling these kind of things. So your all of your contribution actually very important, and major things like we love to learn from each other, and we are trying to growing as a team. So Mr. Jamshed, you are an auditor. I even personally, I'm very interested what's going on inside the corporate industries, even ACI and other corporations, what type of initiative they are taking, especially these green certifications and these things. Mr. Jamshed.
Thank you. First of all, I'm quite delighted to be with you here today. It's an immense pleasure.
Mr.
And
Jamshed, we cannot hear you clearly. Okay.
hello, can you hear me? Hello,
It's
a little bit problem, maybe.
I cannot hear you. No problem. So we can give you chance later. We have our another friend, Mr. Sandit. So Mr. Sandit, how do you want to analyze to this topic?
Yeah, so we are into marine transport. So we
Mhm.
offer solution to reduce the fuel consumption in marine transport. So there are two ways we do. One is by renewable energy application. Like for example, we make solar boats and other electric boats. So one large solar ferry means is about say is about 100 tons of CO2 emissions per year, and a smaller one is about 20 to 30 tons. So on an average, if you say about 50 tons per year, so we have already delivered about 13 of those ferries, three small and 10 big ones, which takes us about 500 tons savings per year. But as we speak today, we are building another 20 large ones, which is double of what we have done till now today. So that is like 1,000 tons of fuel saving per year. This is one kind of impact we try to do. And the second kind is on the large ships where we try to save fuel by analytics, which is the large container ships, tankers, bulk carriers, because they consume 20 to 100 tons per day. And with these analytics, you save about 1% of that fuel saving, which roughly translates to about in the numbers like 50 tons. If you translate, it's like 15,000 tons per year, right, for these vessels, if you take 50 as an average. And if you take 1%, it's about 150 tons, and we manage 500 ships, so that's like 75,000 ton saving. So this is the impact we are creating today, and we have to do much, much more. We know, and there are
Mhm.
many more people working on the same marine transport, and we all will have to contribute and make that switch in from fossil fuel to a better fuels, including solar, electric, and other hydrogen fuel, etc. That's what we are trying to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jamshed. Can you hear me? Yes. Can you share right now or? Okay. Uh, okay, Mr. Saleh.
So thank you, Professor Sharif, for giving me the opportunity to say something about climate studies. So, but basically, I am a researcher in sustainable development and circular economy. So, I would like to say something on the basis of my specialization. Uh, so, yes, I have heard something from the distinguished guests so far, and I also have learned some corporate practice on how to combat climate change. So what I what I have observed so far in Bangladesh, as I am an academician, there is a knowledge gap. Is still there because in Bangladesh we offer some educational services or educational programs that mainly considers only on the environmental science or something like that. But there is a gap of how a business graduate can cope up with that,
Mhm.
or there should be some educational segment should be there, so that so the business graduate can learn something on how we learn about the climate change, because there is a gap of the learning. Because if you see that's the many corporate organizations are running climate change activities very efficiently and effectively, despite we have many limitations that our guests have mentioned in their discussion. So if in order to mitigate this gap, what we need to do, we need to introduce more extensive educational programs in our university levels, so that the students from all streams can join there and learn. Like I completed my MSc in Sustainable Development from Uppsala University. So what I saw there, I saw that there is a multidisciplinary aspects, like all streams of people were there as a student. So so the multidisciplinary educational service we need right now in Bangladesh in order to tackle climate change efficiently and effectively. So,
Mhm. One thing, as you are from academia, I just love to know that what is the partnership in between academy and corporations? So, like how you minimize this gap, like how you producing your resources for industries. Is there any specific guideline or specific strategy for academy and from the academic side for and any collaboration in between government and corporations and academy?
So thank you. Actually, I'm an academician from a private university. There is there is agreement might be with some reputed public universities and private universities, but it should be more collaboration with all universities. And in doing so, we need to introduce such programs that multidisciplinary academician should be there, and students from all streams can join there, because in Bangladesh our environmental science is only concentrated only the science students who actually have done their basic studies in science. But
Mhm,
students from the humanities or from the business studies, they have very little opportunity to learn about climate change, and other aspects of environmental degradation. So this study opportunity should be available for everybody. And if we introduce such activities, then the corporate bodies will encourage to do more collaboration with universities. uh,
mhm.
yes. Yeah.
Like your university producing solution for corporations, like student producing, like there are some startups and other representative from India. So you are doing something like that, or it's only the academic and theoretical aspects?
Right now, I haven't seen such activities in my organizations, or
Mhm.
my previous employers.
Yes. Okay, no problem, no problem. Okay, I understand. Basically, this is the actually major things World Talent Economy Forum we are doing. We are actually collaborating with governments, with corporations, as in between the universities and academia, and we are trying to producing lot of solutions, and many worldwide, many organizations. We are working together, and we are producing solution for different countries and corporations. So hopefully, it will be very effective collaboration for us, and very effective, like I want to say, a platform for all of the corporate bodies and the academic body, and we want to welcome everyone. I think next I have to request Mr. Raval, but before that, I think there is some point Mr. Faizan want to add. Mr. Faizan.
Yeah, you just asked this question about collaboration between institutions and what they are doing to improve the technological scenario. So, I am from IIT Delhi, and
Mhm,
here in IIT Delhi, we have been working parallelly with the government
mhm.
and with the industries
Excellent. Mhm,
to create solutions for climate change.
mhm, mhm,
And my startup, that is Tensor Dynamics, we are into renewable energy grid integration. There are a lot of problems when we
mhm,
integrate renewable energy into the grid. And if you want to go completely renewable, we need to solve these problems. These problems are technological,
mhm,
not resource wise, or these problems. These problems are also scientific. So
mhm,
institutions like IIT, the students from there need to step up to provide these kind of solutions. I am a major in renewable energy methodology, and I am directly applying my studies to provide solution for the market, which currently does not exist. Our startup is working in collaboration with Power Grid of India.
mhm.
Directly, we are working in collaboration with Power Grid of India to improve the situation of renewable energy
Excellent.
and the problems that exist in the renewable energy. We are serving a lot of private clients also, but we are trying to fill the gap here.
Mhm, mhm. Excellent,
That is what
excellent. Excellent. Actually, our World Talent Economy Forum, we have our excellent board of advisor, Dr. Nikhil Agarwal. He is from IIT Kanpur. He's CEO. So he is our board of advisor as well. So we are closely working, and we know that they are one of the smart organizations and institutions in Asia. So yes, I really appreciate your initiative, Mr. Raval. So what you want to add for today's discussion? Yes.
Yeah, so my I run a startup which is more than 1.5 year old, and now we are converting that into a bigger platform. Basically, we started before 2019. on small scale windmills, which is vertical axis windmill, which can be mounted on rooftops. There are horizontal axis windmills available in the market, or which are megawatt scale, but the small scale windmills are not so popular. There are reasons for that, which we found out in the journey.
Mhm.
And one more thing which we found out, that with the production of the whatever units which we are producing electricity out of capturing the wind,
Mhm.
um, we also need, and that is a kind of mandatory, which is now evident, to have an energy storage solution. So I have expanded into that area. So we are providing not only the windmill for vertical access, which is taking a little back seat due to technical issues or expansion on a scale. Smaller scale is available, but if you go for more than 5 kilowatt, you need something different. But right now, the main focus is around ESS, energy storage solution, which we are working on, which can be a kind of game changer for 5 more years before the hydrogen really becomes, most popular, or hydrogen takes place of a lithium ion or lithium ferrous phosphate. So this is one initiative which we are working. Second initiative which we are working is reducing carbon footprint by increasing the plantation into the area where this is not a fertile land, or it is kind of a barren land, in where bamboo plantation is now government of India has categorized from the forest to the crop category. So that has really picking up a big time, and it also supports 35 cottage or a big industry, including CNG production. If you
Mhm.
have a bamboo plantation or those stuff, CNG can be produced out of that. And there are 35 or 34 to 35 industries can be supported. So that is another initiative. But main focus is right now in providing energy storage solution, ESS. And that is
Mhm.
also collaborating with the EV charging company, which is one of our associates working for that. So
Mhm.
these are
Mhm.
our efforts for uh, reducing the carbon footprint or increasing the compliant to the 2030 Paris Agreement or Paris
Mhm.
commitment.
Mhm. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Adam, uh, I'm actually a big fan of Oxford and the Cambridge. You are from Britain, and I know that this kind of university a long time. I work with them from 2012, so they are actually producing a lot of solutions, especially based on climate change. So, what are the specific views you want to share from Britain? Even though in Malaysia, actually, they are a very good fan of UK. So, what do you want to add today? And especially if you have any specific solutions for climate change, uh, as a climate change activist, you can share with us. I know you are transhumanist. I'm also a transhumanist.
Hi.
So yeah, okay.
Yeah, thank you, Sharif. Well, environmental issues and uh, discussions about pollution and the impact we're having on the planet are well, you hear about them every day in England. One of those topics that you see in the newspaper every day, and there's a there is a definite atmosphere of awareness in this country, and I'd say Western Europe as a whole. Um, and because I think people have reached a point now where it's easier now than ever before to research statistics and reports and conclusions about every subject. And I think there's also a culture of some kind of like what I call first world guilt in the West, and where people here kind of beat themselves up into thinking that they are the main culprits. And climate is something of a ticking clock issue anyway, where it seems to me it has been a topic passed around public consciousness for years and years now. And
Mhm.
we know we have the technical know-how, means, and the ingenuity to switch over to alternative procedures to currently used industries and ways of manufacturing that had more of a negative impact on our world, industrial processes and infrastructures that need to be refit to cater to these alternatives and solutions. I think one of the roadblocks to retrofitting our industrial sectors is like this in this way is that it will be very expensive and resource consuming. We have been using the same kinds of power stations for several decades now. In England, if you travel on the motorway, you'll see power station over there, power station over there, some quite close to each other with a massive chimney. And it will be, which doesn't seem, I mean, there's lots of different time frames at work here. I mean, several decades doesn't seem that long at first, but when you realize that even a couple of decades or a couple of years can negatively impact both our climate and our environment, it becomes clear that so much can happen in the blink of an eye. And there are many different scales and magnitudes at play here, like I said. But having said that, we don't want to fall into an alarmist culture. We still need the wisdom to discern between natural climate cycles, which have been rolling for millennia, and more preventable influences on our part. So that brings me to something I've noticed in the media. Like I said a few minutes ago, there's a blaming culture, a culture of shaming and guilting ordinary men and women into thinking that they are the ones causing the most climate imbalances, as they are preached at from corporations and their CEOs and shareholders, investors, wealthy people, basically millionaires and billionaires, who have the influence and the power to influence the media and mainstream culture into shifting the focus and the blame onto ordinary people where climate, pollution and environmental emergencies are concerned, when really it is they who should be taking responsibility for this kind of vandalism of the planet, especially when we loop this back to my first point about more environmentally friendly alternatives to manufacturing, industry, mining, construction. This is just that a lot of these members of the super rich classes are invested and have common interests in resources that are not so environmentally friendly. They have been used for decades and maybe for a few more decades to come, whilst feeding the deception that in the media that they are doing something to help the planet as a kind of cover, just like how philanthropism can be used as an outer layer shielding from the public against the insincerity of some wealthy people, which worked before, but now we're in an age of knowledge and information explosions facilitated by the internet, say. And it's never been easier for ordinary people to do their own research into shady business dealings. So the mask is slipping for these at the highest levels of the pyramid who think they can get away with harming the planet. I mean, look at Jeff Bezos. Recently, he came under fire for going into space when there are more urgent emergencies to find solutions for. But whether you're rich or middle class or not, it's still something that we're all in the same boat, really. Thanks, Sharif.
Thank you, Mr. Adam. Mr. Debashish, I think you are from one of the government body from Bangladesh. So I love to learn more what's going on inside the government and what type of initiatives, especially government taking. I know that Bangladesh and India, even Maldives, this kind of country has some sort of challenge for climate change. What actually government doing right now?
Thank you, Professor Fred, for asking this. I think this is a vital moment. Let me say some background why what I have found out to do some research regarding these things. So whenever I am searching regarding these things and whenever we do some project with these things, if I particularly found out like who is responsible for this particular climate change and this greenhouse effect. So this is a main and major concept. Like we are the people, like we are consequently, and we are the primary people who are really responsible for this climate change and the greenhouse effect. So the most important thing what I have found out throughout those years, like back in 1950, so when the industrial revolution kicked into the world and the things happened, like all the natural resources has been burning out and all the things have been using. So back from then, nowadays it's like the global warming and the other issues is more than multiply than 2 or 3%. So this is a concerning issue. This is we have been facing. So Bangladesh government also taking some responsibilities toward this. So they are also providing some facilities like waste to energy project and some other projects where the waste can be converted into the energy. So in this purpose, what happens? Like whenever there is no waste, so there will be a zero landfill solution. in this particular landfill solution, the water will be clean, the air will be clean, and the major concept of carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, and methane, which are directly responsible to hold the heat up. And this is the reason, like back in 2015, what we have seen, the maximum temperature is like 23 to 24 degrees Celsius. But nowadays, it's being like in the summer season, we are facing like 41 to 42 degrees Celsius. So this is a challenging issue for us, and government also taking responsibility as well. And there are some organizations who are also doing some research on that, like Atomic Energy Commissions and some other organizations like Science and Technology Ministry are also taking care of all of those things. And I also agree with Mr. Salah as well, like what he have just said. I want to add something, like education industry and the universities need to tie up some more, and they need to launch some educational programs to educate people.
Mhm.
Like there are some research where we found out, like a typical person usually produce like 4.6 pound waste per day. So it's going to be like 1569 pound in a year. So can you believe that if a person can produce 1569 pound
Mhm.
waste in a day? So if we consider only Bangladesh, if we consider 10 million people, if we consider 20 million people, the waste is huge. So this is the thing, this is the scenario what have been happening. And on the other hand, we found out some very crucial things. The crucial thing is, most of the people who are living near the sea, there are a concept of ocean acidification. So because of that reason, the living plants and fish and other things like the trees, which is living under the water, and who are directly responsible and who need the help of the water, that has been polluted by carbon dioxide. So this is also taking care of Bangladesh government as well, and Bangladesh government is taking this very seriously. And they are also tying up with some companies like from China, Philippines, and some other countries, and they have been taking the proposals from them as well, and they are doing some research on that. So whether is it feasible or not? So the feasibility thing is the most important thing, what I do believe from my point of view. Because if the project is not feasible, then how these things are going to happen, like how the waste are going to become the energy, and how much energy they are going to produce, and is there any byproduct, any other facilities or disadvantages regarding these things. So this is government is considering, and this is what is happening back in Bangladesh. I do believe, like in 2 to 3 years, the Bangladeshi environment will be much more different, and the atmosphere will be changed, and all the scenario will be changed. Thank you, Mr. Sharif.
Thank you, Mr. Devashish. Mr. Jamshed, can you share like okay, okay, no problem, no problem. Definitely, you are joining and you are sharing your views with us. This is also important for World Talent Economy Forums. Um, Mr. Kumar, your organization producing solutions, and there are many startups. They are also producing solution. Especially, I love like IIT concept. Uh, but one point I love to know that how we can produce more good solutions for industry, especially from academy, especially like how like think tank like us they can help different academy and corporations to develop some good solutions. What do you think?
This would be the right example. I mean, the session which is happening today, I can
Mhm.
see entrepreneurs, I can see auditors, activists, government policymakers. I mean, this is a perfect combination. When you want a right solution, I mean, generally we sit across as a team. We think, I mean, from the economic point of view, from the innovation point of view, from a society point of view. So, as you rightly said, in IIT Madras or in any IITs for that matter, so we have the combination of expert panels and we debate about the solution. See, most of the cases, ideas are brilliant. I mean, most of the people they have a brilliant ideas, but when you see the actual scenario, where we miss is when we do a life cycle assessment, we come to know that those solutions are damaging uh, more than the existing solution. In terms of, like, say example, we have
Sorry, Mr. Kumar. Mr. Ashik, are you available?
Yes, I'm available here.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay. Can you share your views, especially from your company, especially ACI, those who are one like largest group
sure.
of companies, and what type of
Yes.
collaboration your company has, especially for with the academy and
Hmm.
government? Mr.
We have
Ashik,
So
Mr. Kumar, I'm sorry, I'm coming to you because of some
yeah,
internet
yeah,
connections. Yes,
yes.
Mr. Ashik. Yeah.
Okay.
we have a research team in our company. They're the think tank. They're trying to grab the ideas of the universities and the what organization they're working with the environment, like Dhaka School of Economics. They are working with the environmental economics. So we're a business organization. So as we are have to do the business and we have to take care of the environment, otherwise we will not be in the business anymore. So and ACI is working with the farmers and the rural things much more, because we work with the seed, we work with the shrimp, we work with to grow more plants, and we facilitate the farmers the uh, newly motors thing, like transplanter, harvester. So we always try to secure the environment because our business is with the environment. So
Mhm,
we took the new projects from the fresh university graduate, and we try to implement those. One of the brainchild, as I mentioned earlier, that the bioflocks. Now it is we are
mhm,
introducing and we are trying to push it in the urban areas. So
mhm,
this is how we are trying to take try to take the research paper and make it work it with our business. So this is how we
mhm,
are working.
mhm.
This is how we
Like
are collaborating research and educational areas with the business.
we get some of the largest like industries, those who join in World Talent Economy Forum, especially from Western world, especially Scandinavian countries. A minimum 10% of their profit they investing on research. This kind of policy or procedures,
Yeah,
do
we
you
have a
have
policy
or?
like that. Yes,
Mhm.
we
Okay,
have a
okay.
policy. These are basically government policies. So there is no option that we can avoid those things. Like we have to take the environmental certificate, and for that we have to maintain many. We have to invest some environmental researchers. We have to maintain some strict rules from them. Otherwise, we are going to be penalized. So these are the steps we have to take. And also there is an opportunity from tax government taxation side, that if we invest in those sort of industries we will get a tax
Mhm,
rebate. So by default the businessmen are really willing to invest on those projects. It's like if you invest in the green energy project, you will get a 5% tax rebate. There is always an option like that in Bangladesh. So in businessmen are really interested to invest and put some money over there to secure the environment. So there is always
mhm,
option,
mhm,
and we always do that to reduce our tax.
mhm, mhm. Thank you, Mr. Shandit. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, actually, like as you are producing solutions, so what type of challenges you are facing right now, or how you getting support from local ecosystems and especially from government and corporation or academy?
Okay, so of course, things as an entrepreneur, we always have to find solution despite the constraints we face. There's never a perfect support system available. We work with constraints. Having said that, there are many policy things that government has to do. Many times when we talk of electric mobility and climate change, the governments, I don't know about Malaysia and other governments, they always talk of the roads. They talk of car, bus, bike, and auto rickshaws. they don't talk of boats. So that's a
Mhm, mhm,
policy blindsidedness which happens in most governments. It's definitely there in India. I don't know about Malaysia. So that has to change, and that's one aspect which I keep constantly addressing them to take care of boats as well and not just restrict to land, which is important. And
mhm,
then there are certain state governments are very pro water transport, like Kerala, Goa, West Bengal, Assam. There are many states who are very interested in this because Bangladesh also has heavily dependent on water transport, as example. They have a focus, but many states there are in Delhi for sure doesn't. So that's why many of this policy gets affected. There are many private organizations, like for example Shell Foundation is a classic case of a charity foundation who is supporting us to make some of our initiatives in the solar fishing boat make a reality. So that also happens. There are many investors who have this clean tech mandate, which also support us. So there are a lot of support system available, and as I said, it is never enough. It is never perfect. We always work with constraint, and that's the way all entrepreneurs work.
mhm, mhm. Thank you, Mr. Saleh.
So thank you so much. Yes, so it is very delighted to hear from Mr. Ashik that his organization is initiating some projects related to environmental consideration, and also it helps to initiate more research. So actually, what I would like to add something related to my recent research, that what I have found that the contribution of the end consumer is also important to curb the environmental degradation. Say for example, we have discussed here about the government policy. We have discussed here about what a corporation can do in order to curb the climate change problem. Uh, but one more thing is that as an end consumer, like me or like you, that we also have very good contribution in this aspect. If we should be concerned about climate change, we should be concerned about the planetary boundaries and other concepts, that we should be concerned from our side, and we should be more concerned about waste management, because our individual effort can help an organization like ACI, or other multinational organizations to generate more in order to make the country and the whole world more sustainable. Because the individual level can help an organization, and also it helps the government to initiate and implement those climate change and climate protection policies efficiently and effectively. So actually, it should be an all-out effort, and because as we are the consumer, we should be cautious about the product. We should be cautious about the what actually the carbon footprint is there in producing and distributing and marketing that particular product. So that's all I would like to add more in my speech today.
Mhm. Thank you, thank you. This is also our concern, that especially we want we want to engage with grassroots level people, because there are
Yeah,
many
that's
corporations, there are governments, and there are academy. But definitely, we need to engage with grassroots level people. I do not know, because uh, uh, I want to engage, and I love to get some specific awareness. Because if you cannot aware the peoples about climate change, I think only the government, only the corporation, even only the academia, they are not enough to solve this problem, because we need to work as a team, and we need to collaborate with the grassroots level people. Mr. Ravel, so what you want to add in this point, especially engaging with grassroots level peoples, or you have your own solutions, so how your company actually engage with your local community?
So yes, as you said, last sentence I pick up that it is not only government's prerogative or its only responsibility to make everything available. It is a social responsibility together, and awareness is very very important. So there are so many good things happening, but it is happening in isolation. I
Mhm.
would like to make those sharing of the good thing and exemplifying, because only one time doing, and if it cannot be replicated elsewhere, is little use. Okay, it is of use, but not as great as somebody else is picking up from there. For example, there is one sewage treatment plant or effluent treatment plant in my city, which was built for kind of water treatment, and it is generating power. It is also producing manure, and it is also giving a free power to the municipal corporation. And the water outlet is a sort of a drinkable quality, but it is gone for other process treatment. So that is a kind of a project which is to be exemplified. Even in my city, people do not know that such project exists. So there is a kind of sharing. Good example is needed. That's number one. Number two, everyone need to be strongly inculcated that every West deserve a second life. If I can make
Mhm.
manure at my home, and I do that for a 3 months process, every 3 months I have a 2 kilo of manure and 2 liter of the liquid fertilizer for my garden, terrace garden or whatever it is, and I keep giving these tips or sharing that with the society, with the colleagues, with my network, that it is not a showbiz, but it is to show that we are concerned and we are giving this small things, tips to not to waste the bio-waste and creating a manure. That's an example. We are reducing a plastic waste, or we are reducing so many other kind of initiatives which helps serving or saving the planet for a good future. So one is that inculcation of every West deserve the second life is needed, and there is an
Mhm.
awareness, social responsibility to be inculcated. For that, good results or good examples needs to be brought into the limelight.
Mhm. Mhm.
And
Thank you,
then
Mr. Debashish.
this kind of forum can help. Actually, I would add last point that we should
Mhm.
populate our contacts and kind of this I am first time been invited by one of my colleague, but this kind of forum can be more and more popular, should be popular, where everybody can start interacting. It could be a blog, it could be an interactive platform where everybody can leverage others success stories, because it is
Mhm.
a
Thank
sharing.
you.
It is nothing competitive world, it is a complementary world, my friend.
Mhm. Mhm. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Debashish. I think you want to add some interesting point with our audience.
Yes, Professor Sharif, thank you very much. I really agree with Mr. Ragul, as well as I would like to give some information regarding Bangladesh Standards and Testing Institute. That's a government organizations. They are also focusing on sustainable development. So they are doing all the activities to maintain the sustainable development, as well as what we are seeing. Bangladesh government is also interested in research and development projects. So whereas if you go back 4 to 5 years or 10 years, countries like Bangladesh, India, Malaysia, Philippines, these types of country or these countries are not that much aware of research and development. But the government as well as private institute and government institute are encouraging the research and development, and government also encouraging all the foreign companies who are interested to do their business or regarding the environment, regarding the waste, and regarding other things which is related to waste, and which can lead the country to zero landfill solutions, and which can decrease the rate of carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, and methane and others gases, which is really dangerous for us, not only for us, for the next generation as well. Because good health can lead a generation healthy and will the life. So this is the concept. This is what is happening back in Bangladesh. I do believe it is also happening in India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and some other countries like us in Malaysia as well. As Professor Shoaib just mentioned at the first time, like they are also collaborating with the Malaysian government. So this is a big thing. I think this is appreciating things. The government is also looking after it and looking into it. So I really appreciate it, and I really appreciate all the organizations effort and everything, and all the solutions which is coming up through the sessions, and which is coming up through the idea sharings and others. I hope that lots of scenarios will coming up, and there will be lots of companies who will be providing more solutions regarding the waste energy, and which can help the climate as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Adam. Like UK actually very famous for producing good policy. How actually they are developing climate change policy and implementing it?
Sorry, could you say that again, Sharif? Sorry.
Yeah, basically like how you developing climate change policy and implement it right now.
Well, one idea I had was just thinking about, which you inspired when you mentioned transhumanism. It is important to remember to consider the historical period we are living through and witnessing in real time with our very own eyes. You, Sharif, you mentioned transhumanism. Is the singularity near? If so, where? What I'm getting at is that I feel we are taking our first steps into a new renaissance, dare I say, a new enlightenment. And just like the Renaissance several centuries ago, all these different spheres and strands of human thought, innovation, discovery, exploration, are all coming together again. And compare that to past couple of decades. The 20th century on a whole, for instance, was an age of specialization, in my opinion. And now I think computing and processing power connected to future emerging prostheses in our brains and bodies, or genetic and biological engineering, will allow all of this knowledge to come together. And right now, this library of everything is outsourced to a place outside of us. That's the internet, search engines, wikis, hyperlinks. So considering transhumanism again and the effect that futurism might have on policy making and legislation, I hope we would find ways to internalize all of this knowledge within us, because that is what I think we will have to do to erect defensive and preventative measures against global existential risks, as well as solutions if a crisis has reached its late stages where time is running out. Because climate is a good example of a large-scale system encompassing several magnitudes, factors that could affect it, whether these influence knock-on effects, conclusions happen on small, medium, and or large scales. It's the old butterflies and hurricanes proverb. Because the tricky thing now is every specialty subject, no matter how specialized, exclusive, or niche they might be, each specialty subject is huge, vast. Just take a random example: neuropsychoimmunology, for example, something highly localized in the state spaces of knowledge and thought. It's still a topic where there's a lot to learn. It's quite deep, and there's more to learn after that still. Because there could be a solution or an answer to a riddle, to a climate problem, to be found or inspired from a subdiscipline that may not normally be touched by climatologists, say. Yet it could go a long way to delaying drastic consequences caused by these crises. So we need to usher in the new age of cooperation and collaboration after centuries and centuries of bloody competition. And we may need to give our economic systems an overhaul, where human society operates on a more collaborative level, where knowledge is the main driving force value rather than money, financial gain, where, if we believe money is the root of all evil, that we could say man is the greatest threat to ourselves, and, climate change is just a reflection of that or a result of it. So, yeah, I think we should change or adapt policies and procedures and things like that to help society move into a more collaborative, cooperative, interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary age of working and living and being industrious. I hope that answers your question, Sharif. I'm going to go off topic too much. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I directly want to go for the concluding remarks for today. Before that, I just want to share with everyone this is our 360 episode. So you can share our content as much as possible. It's 100% free. Uh, More than 300 different corporations and the faculties and the government body, they join in World Talent Economy Forum. We are growing ourselves as a think tank, and we are trying to producing different kind of solutions for based on the problems of the society, based on the problem of the communities. And more than 100 different countries we are collaborating under these World Talent Economy Forums. We are discussing about the technology, we are discussing about uh, investment, and definitely we are caring about talent and caring about the talent economy. So we believe if we can produce 1 million talent around the world, especially for the developing nations, we can minimize the gap in between developed nations and the developing nations. We are getting very good support from the developed nations, and now we need to be more collaborative with these developing nations. So I think people from India, from Bangladesh, from Pakistan, and from Nepal, and even Indonesia, Vietnam, all of the peoples, even we have a collaboration in Africa. They can help us, and they can share our content. And we believe if we work as a team, we can solve many problems together. Especially in the COVID-19 situation, we find that individually government, they are not enough, individually corporation, they are not enough, even the academy not enough. So we have to understand this, and we have to collaborate with each others, and we need to work as a team. And this is the way actually our talent economy will grow, and our talent economy will solve many of the global problems. So thank you everyone for joining these sessions. I directly want to go for the concluding remarks. I want to start from Mr. Kumar.
Thank you, Sharif. Um as everybody says, I mean, we have to work together to solve this problem. So for that, I mean, we need to know the numbers. I mean, when 2015 Paris Summit happened, the moment we hit the numbers, what is the temperature has been raised, and what are the changes happened in the past 50 years, that's the wake up call for everybody. So in the recent time, I was reading about donut economics. So that gives a clear picture of whole inner circle and the outer circle, like both environmental as well as inside us, what we are exploiting, what we are using at present. So when you put a number in place, yeah, everybody wakes up and then start working towards that, and that would be the right thing, I would say. So that's happening in South India. I mean, even the Pollution Control Board in India, they're trying to put the numbers. What is the air quality? What is the water quality index? So all this has been in place, and people started to read that and then moving towards the sustainability and trying to not affect the environment and the climate as much as possible. So that's the way we need to work together. And
Mhm. Thank you, Mr. Ashik.
Thank you, Mr. Sharif. It's a wonderful place and wonderful platform to talk, and I'm really glad that there is someone to hear. And still, I want to share that we are working well. We are in from the corporate. We are trying hard, but the situation is much more alarming. When we are the affected country, as Bangladesh is losing a lots of place in the Bay of Bengal Sea. So, as example, we can take Dokhin Talpati is no more with the Bangladeshi map. So I think we have to be much more alert. As I like to add also that there was a research which was like we will lose 30% of our land in coming disaster from the climate change. So I think this is much more needed. And also I would love to add I would love to thanks Mr. Kumar that bringing up the number idea, because that is needed. A densely populated country, we all need to know that the numbers, the rising of temperatures, the flood level of the rivers, the sea level, these are really alarming things. If he doesn't know the numbers, what is really going on, we will be in a very mess and pretty soon. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Raval, what's your concluding remarks? Mr. Raval, what's your concluding remarks?
Yeah, I would like to have this forum going bigger, broader, and everybody leverage synergy and exemplify the efforts being put forward, because there is a saying by one of the management guru that what makes you rich here will not get you there. There is a book also on that same name.
Mhm.
So from here onwards, the journey is steep. It is not as easy as we probably sailed through in the our last couple of decades or 3 decades. It is getting steeper, so the angle is more and efforts has to be stepped up. This is a good initiative. We need to leverage more and more. That's what I would say. Thank you.
Thank you. So Debashish, what's your concluding remarks?
Thank you, Professor. Sorry. So, what I believe, this is a great discussion, as well as we need to launch some programs regarding the university students and college students who are going to be the next generation people, as well as the going students, like maybe from standard 6 to 12, as well as the university students. So, if they are aware about all of those issues and all of the scenario and how to manage all of them all together in a perfect manner, then we can see a better world. Thank you.
Mhm. Thank you. Mr. Adam, what's your concluding remarks?
Thank you, Sharif. Thanks again for inviting me to this discussion, and it's good to see all these new people. I just want to conclude by saying, if we are to learn anything from enduring this COVID situation, with all of its many challenges, it's that if enough financial backing and public relations resources are used, the global village can work together to achieve almost anything, and quickly. So I ask, if we can get billions of people to get a vaccine each or a couple, and to comply to new ways of living and to normalize changes in the way we work and play and recreation, why haven't we done so with other large scale crises like climate emergencies? It strikes me as very odd. It could have prevented several wars, incidents, attacks, crises, if the same magnitude of resources that we saw put into COVID solutions were also put into those that I just listed, climate included. So the saying, if they wanted to, they could, springs to mind. So when I liked how you mentioned the word grassroots. If we can't uh, afford to trust authorities too much, it's probably up to us um, to go more grassroots and to tackle these problems. Thank you, Sharif. Pleasure being here.
Thank you, Mr. Saleh. What's your concluding remarks?
Yeah, so thank you, Professor Sharif, for inviting me here to say something about, and actually, it's my immense pleasure to talk in front of the distinguished guest that are presenting here. So I'd like to thanks to this forum, and at the end of this session, I would like to request to Professor Sharif to arrange a discussion on circular economy, because circular economy is closely associated with the philosophy of sustainable development, and also circular economy has a very good, positive, and diversified impact in curbing environmental degradation and climate change. At the in my concluding remarks, so that's my request to you to arrange a session on circular economy. So thank you so much, and good luck
Definitely,
with this forum.
definitely. If we get enough expert and resources, we are open for that. And especially like World Talent Economy forums, we have our board of advisors, our scientific committees, our ambassadors, around 50 people, UN secretary generals to world economy forums, different politicians, US senators, different Nobel Prize winners, Ivy League professors, and developing nations representative. They already working with World Talent Economy forums. We have very strong board, and we are open for collaborations. So if we can solve any of the problems, any of the community, we are open for that. And hopefully our contributions can change millions of people. Especially we are focusing working with the grassroots level people, because they need more of the support, they need more like carings. So thank you everyone, and we believe in talent economy. I believe those who join in World Talent Economy Forum's today's discussions, all of you have your own talents, and I believe that you are also solving many problems in between your communities. So now we have to move forward as a global organizations, and we need to conquer the world. Thank you, Mr. Jomsed, Mr. Saleh, Mr. Ravels, Mr. Debashis, Adams, Mr. Kumar, and Mr. Ashikur for your support for World Talent Economy Forum. Bye bye and take care.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.